I have made the unthinkable. The HeroQuest difficulty calculator. This page is really not fancy at all. I've been working on this concept for a long time, and now it's finally here. I'm just reading the page. Nobody could have said it better than myself, so why not just read what I already said? My difficulty calculator for HeroQuest lets you put any entity with any stats to get a calculated number indicating the overall suggested power level for that entity, but it would not be special if it only did just that. You can get the full tutorial by really just downloading the file. It's linked in the description below, and it definitely works with Microsoft Excel. I'm not sure what other spreadsheet programs I can get it to work with or what it already works with. Or you can watch my recent live stream about this app. I've been talking about doing this for like 2 years, and it's finally done. Boy, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It no longer looks like any of this. It's way more eloquent. So what this thing really does is it gets precise power levels, prioritizing the largest potential number, the largest potential threat in a room of groups of entities, so that you can finally get a reference of difficulty to measure rooms of any configuration of monsters that you want. Now, this is based on the principle that if you face 2 different monsters in 2 different rooms, they will each have their own power level. But when you put them together in the same room, the threat is not as simple as combining both of those 2 things together in an additive way. This is objectively true mathematically. There are a ton of examples included with the file, plenty of room to add your own entire roster of enemies and heroes. I've got space for up to 300 monsters, up to 100 heroes. It even supports monsters that have more than 1 attack per turn, and it supports monsters that defend on white shields. All of the calculations have been provided for those special instances. I know a lot of people are going to say now what they said then, and that is everybody knows simplicity is best when it comes to HeroQuest, and I couldn't agree more. This tool is for people who like to overanalyze their quest creations, people who like to fine-tune and engineer, people who don't have access to playtesters all the time, who still want to be able to get their quests very finely tuned in terms of difficulty, challenge, reward, and balance. People like myself. Also, you can use this tool to track the difficulties of your skirmishes for your dungeon crawl gaming campaigns, regardless if you're going to use them for personal reasons or commercial reasons. It doesn't matter, I don't care. But enough yapping. What does this thing actually look like? Well, we're opening it in OpenOffice Calc right now, but here's your monster database. I have all of the examples here that I bothered to put in from various expansions for HeroQuest. After all, this is a tool designed to help you with creating your own homebrew for HeroQuest, and you can see we have 102 rows for this one section of columns. This is the monster database. These monsters defend on black. You'll plug in your own homebrew monster or another monster that's in an official quest that isn't listed here. You'll put in their attack dice, their defend dice, their body points, and in the S1, S2, and S3, the S stands for special, you'll put in the total amount of attack that they could do if they fired off one of their special attacks. So like in this case, if a monster has a ranged attack that is a one-time spell and it does 5 attack dice worth of damage, you'll put a 5 in one of these columns. You'll end up with a power level because of the formula that I have put into place that calculates this. It makes sure that pretty much any stat has relevance. Any attribute the monster could have has relevance, all except for movement, which this spreadsheet explains why. I don't care what movement the monster has. I have 3 such sections, and all of these are 100 rows long, so you've got room for 300 monsters here. That's more than you could possibly ever want for multiple campaigns upon campaigns. There are 100 spaces for heroes, and you can also put your monsters here that defend on white shields. Doesn't matter. It's going to be looking at all of these in order to calculate the skirmishes that you enter in these skirmish tables. The skirmish tables, by the way, are these lovely things right here, multicolored. You will only enter the monster names in the input, and it doesn't matter if you enter them lowercase, uppercase, or where in the input you enter them. You are going to basically enter all of the monsters' names that you would encounter in a single corridor or in a single room or anywhere where you are going to have line of sight to all of these different monsters. Not line of sight necessarily, but if they just appear in the same active play area as the players at one time. I have 14 different sheets in this workbook to give you ample spaces in order to enter your own skirmishes. A lot of these skirmish blocks are only 2 large. That's just if you have one monster that appears in a corridor. This is giving you plenty of room. Some of these give you plenty of room to put in rooms full of monsters, and I've even got a couple of tables that will allow up to 7 monsters, and I've even got these ridiculously large tables that will allow you to enter a monster for every single tile that exists in the center room, should you be crazy enough to have a quest that has all of the monsters just flooding the central room. The auto sort column will do its job and sort the monsters by their power level. The power column will let you know what each individual monster's power is. Think of it as a convenient shortcut. And then the totals column will actually give you the total amount of power in that room by the row, updating with each monster you add. The total unit power is the total difficulty for that room. The total quest difficulty is a sum of all of the skirmish table difficulties for a given quest. The total quest book difficulty is a calculation, a sum of all of the total quest difficulties across the 14 sheets. So you always know at a glance what the difficulty of your total campaign is going to be. And this means nothing on its own. It's just a way for you to gauge and compare versus officially released quests, so you already know what kind of difficulty to shoot for. And the reason that I put this together is because I wasn't happy with any of the stuff that was available out there up to this point. I didn't like the idea of just like adding all of the BP together. I think that that method absolutely makes a lot of the attributes of monsters completely irrelevant, and it is a terrible way to actually calculate the difficulty that your players are going to have in a given quest or campaign. I also don't believe in purely multiplicative methods because, again, this kind of treats all the stats as though they are the same. I think that there is a healthy balance in blending these two methods, but at any rate, the calculations that I'm providing are just my own. They're the ones that I think are very accurate. If you don't like them, it's fine. The idea is to get a more precise difficulty than what's available out there now, and to do so in a very, very easy and very intuitive way. So these will return more precise difficulty curves and slightly different difficulty curves than the other methods out there available will. I talk a little bit about the movement and range logic on this sheet, which is included in the workbook. I give you an intro, I give you a how to use, I give you a little spiel on abilities and mind points and the methodology, and then the credits and license and other info is right here as well. Finally, there is a frequently asked questions section, although nobody was asking any questions about this whatsoever. I thought it would be very useful to include just in case you come up with a question. It's probably here in the frequently asked questions section, but if it's not, you can just message me on Discord or comment in this video or whatever, and if I get a lot of questions that are the same, I'll update this file and its FAQ with your questions. This is a free file. It did go out to patrons first, give them a little timed exclusivity, but now it is available for all for free. So I hope you try it out, I hope you use it, and I hope that it actually is useful to you in some way. Again, as far as HeroQuest goes, always keep it simple in your design philosophies, but if you are really fine-tuning something and you want to be as precise as possible, I think this is going to go a long way for you where other methods lack. May sound pretentious, I don't care. I spent the last 2 years making this, so. And a little pro tip, if you don't want to use this or any other calculation method, but you still want to make sure that your quest has the same difficulty level as an existing campaign, just take that official campaign, look at the encounters, and make sure that you use the same encounters. Even if you use them in a different order, you're still using the same encounters, and therefore you have the same difficulty level as that quest. Just be sure to consider the traps that are in that quest and the order of the encounters, and whether or not those encounters are mandatory to complete the quest. Because another thing you should be doing is weighing the one true path, so to speak, of the quest versus the get every single room open and explore every nook and cranny difficulty. Those are two different numbers, and they can be very, very different. Even for quests like Sir Ragnar, the rescue of Sir Ragnar, where all of the doors open and you have to fight all the monsters at some point, the difficulty for the one true path is still different than the explore every room, because if you are exploring rooms and you are constantly drawing wandering monster cards, well, you have to factor in what's the maximum amount of wandering monster cards that you could draw if you searched every room and constantly got wandering monster cards. Just some little tips that have nothing to do with this file. Anyway, go download this file, comment what you think below. Don't just give me a spiel about how to keep it simple. I know, I've already read those comments. They are not useful to me. Use the tool and let me know what you thought of it. And I will see you in the next exciting journey. Until then, brave heroes, onward for now and farewell.